Your ears pop, your snack bag swells, and yet you feel fine. Up here, your body is quietly renegotiating every breath so you can read a book at 35,000 feet. Let's step inside that deal, one calm breath at a time. You are sitting still in a seat, heart steady, maybe a little drowsy. But inside, a tiny chemistry team is at work, nudging the knobs. If you clipped a fingertip oximeter on right now, it might say 90 to 94%, not your usual 96 to 99. That sounds low, but you feel normal. Your body already adjusted. Little clues give it away. Your ears pop on the climb. A chip bag from the airport store puffs like a pillow. The air feels cool and dry on your face. Those are hints that pressure and gases are different up here. Your body reads those hints too and makes quiet fixes. Here is the first big change. The cabin is not set to sea level. It is set to feel like a mountain town, about 6,000 to 8,000 feet. Newer long-haul jets try for the lower end, closer to 6,000. That drop matters, even though you are still sitting in a chair. At 8,000 feet, the push of the air is about a quarter less than at the beach. Oxygen is still the same slice of the air, about 1/5. But because the total push is lower, each breath brings in fewer oxygen molecules. Picture a shopping bag that looks the same size but holds fewer apples.
So why do you still feel okay?
Because the moment the air thins, your built-in sensors speak up. They live near the split in the arteries in your neck. Call them tiny oxygen sentries. When oxygen dips, they tap your breathing center and say, "A bit more air, please." You do not pant. It is not panic. It is just a nudge. Your breaths get a little deeper or a little faster. You might not even notice. But that small change does two things at once. It brings in a bit more oxygen, and it also washes out a little more carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the steering wheel here. When you breathe a bit more, your CO2 level drops from the mid-40s to around 30 to 35. That shift matters. In simple terms, the oxygen in your lung air depends on how much oxygen you breathe in, minus how much CO2 is hanging around. With lower pressure up here, you breathe in less oxygen per breath. But because you let out more CO2, the oxygen pressure inside the tiny air spaces of your lungs lands in the sweet spot, around 60 to 70. That is enough to keep your brain happy and your oximeter in the low 90s. That is the pulse oximeter surprise. 91% at cruise looks scary on a hospital screen. On a plane, for a healthy person, it is normal. Your body already tilted the chemistry to protect your head. You feel fine. Sip tea and keep reading. There is another quiet twist. Lower CO2 makes your blood a touch more alkaline for a while. That makes hemoglobin, the red oxygen carrier, hold on to oxygen a bit tighter in the lungs. Handy because the oxygen pressure is lower up here. Loading stays efficient.
Will it still let go in your muscles?
Yes. Working tissue is warm and a little more acidic. That loosens hemoglobin's grip right where it needs to. On a single flight, your kidneys have not fully balanced this chemistry shift yet. So your body runs a small, safe experiment for a few hours, then resets after landing. Now let's talk pressure pockets. Lower pressure makes trapped gas expand by about 1/3. That is Boyle's law in your head, face, and gut. Your ears pop and your sinuses crackle as small tubes open and equalize. A swallow or a yawn opens those doors. The same expansion happens in your stomach and intestines. Most of the time, your body handles it without drama, maybe a quiet burp, maybe nothing at all. Pilots also keep the pressurization change gentle, usually a few 100 feet per minute, to spare those sensitive spaces on the way up and down.
That chip bag is a funny barometer.
Sealed at the airport, then puffed at cruise by about 35%. The same physics is nudging the air pockets in you. The bag looks dramatic. Your body makes the same change feel routine. The cabin climate adds another layer. The air is very dry, often under 20% humidity. On some long flights, it drops into single digits. That dry air pulls water from your airways and skin. You lose more water than you think just by breathing. Mild altitude also makes some people pee a little more. Put those together and you get dry eyes, a scratchy throat, and that thirsty feeling when you land. A sip of water and a blink break now and then help more than you would expect in this air.
Here is a curveball.
Cabin CO2. During cruise, it often sits around 700 to 1,500 parts per million. On the ground, during boarding and taxi, it can climb higher if fresh air is limited. Those higher levels are linked in some studies to sleepiness and mild head fog. That is why you can feel drowsy before the wheels even leave the runway. It is not low oxygen, it is the extra CO2 nudging your alertness. Once the engines spool up and airflow improves, CO2 usually drops and your head clears a bit. Newer jets can feel better for a reason. Planes like the Boeing 787 and the Airbus A350 keep cabin altitude lower, closer to 6,000 feet. They also tend to run a little more humidity. Passengers on these planes often show oxygen numbers a few points higher and report fewer headaches and less fatigue. Same traveler, 2 flights. On an older jet, their oximeter reads 91 and they feel a bit heavy. On a 787, it reads 94 and they feel fresher. Small differences add up over a long night. If you enjoy clear, no-drama body science, subscribe and stick around for more BodyNaut trips. Who needs extra help? Most healthy adults handle an 8,000-foot cabin well. People with some heart or lung conditions, severe anemia, or in late pregnancy may need planning. A clinic can test you in a safe, simulated cabin to see if you will need oxygen on board. Airlines and crews also build in backstops. If cabin pressure ever rose too high, meaning the air got too thin, masks drop automatically around a set level. They give you enough oxygen for the emergency descent window, usually about 10 to 20 minutes. The crew aims the plane to safer air while you breathe normally through the mask. Why do you have such a fast response in the first place? Evolution put quick oxygen sensors near the brain's blood supply. If the air thins, you breathe more within minutes before you even notice. Over days at real altitude, your body makes deeper changes. On a flight, you only need the quick version. A few caveats help keep the story honest. Cold fingers, nail polish, and fidgeting can fool a fingertip oximeter. Cabin CO2 levels vary by plane and crowding. Humidity also varies by model and route. But the core dance is the same. Breathe a bit more, lower CO2 a bit, and buy back enough oxygen in the lungs to feel fine.
Here is the quiet payoff.
At Cruise, you are a live, automatic chemistry lab. About a 25% drop in oxygen pressure, about a 35% gas expansion, bone-dry air. And still, you are peacefully sipping tea, ears clear, brain sharp, watching sunlit clouds slide by. Your body steers with CO2, pops the ears, keeps oxygen loading efficient, and delivers it where it matters. Next time your snack bag puffs, smile. That is your inner lab at work, so you can read, nap, and gaze at the sky in perfect calm. If you like clear inside your body tours like this, subscribe and drop a like. There is more waiting on BodyNaut. Safe travels, and see you next time.